The war on terror is said to be a global effort, but in Kentucky, it's even bigger than that. The state anti-terrorism law requires the Office of Homeland Security to acknowledge it cannot keep the state safe without God's help. And now a group of atheists are suing, seeking to remove that clause from the law. David Silverman is the communication director for American Atheists Incorporated. And David, a lot of states say and do some really stupid things sometimes. Why are you guys taking aim at this particular instance?
Well, when it comes right down to it, this is a direct attack against the separation of church and state. First of all, hi, David. Thank you for having me on your show. This is a direct attack against the separation of church and state, where we're actually seeing the Division of Homeland Security having the responsibility not only to acknowledge it, but to trumpet its acknowledgement that the states cannot be protected against terrorism without the help of a God. We don't think that's the place of the Homeland Security. We think guns and people protect us from terrorists, not gods and prayers.
What does the Commonwealth of Kentucky say in response?
They haven't given us a good response yet, except that they're resisting it. They think that they're saying that this is an anti-patriotic and unpatriotic stance. Actually, American Atheists is taking a very supportive and pro-patriotic stance because we are supporting the separation of church and state, which is the pillar of our community and something that American Atheists stands firmly behind. So we are attacking only because we want the Division of Homeland Security to really concentrate on Homeland Security and not to worry about pushing religion, which is against the law in the first place.
I can cite a chapter and verse about some of the problems they have in Kentucky, which might undermine their contention that God is somehow on their side and not on some other state's side. But in any case, according to report in the Lexington Herald, your group, though, is also seeking monetary damages, saying that the plaintiffs are suffering from sleeping disorders, mental pain, and anguish. Quote, plaintiffs also suffer anxiety from the belief that the existence of these unconstitutional laws suggests that their very safety as residents of Kentucky may be in the hands of fanatics, traitors, or fools.
Yes.
Why would you guys put that in a lawsuit? Why would you sue over something like this? Do you really believe this?
Well, the monetary damages and the personal damages clause is in the lawsuit because it has to be. Federal law demands that if right now, the new law that went into effect last year, demands that if you sue on the basis of the separation of church and state, you have to claim damages. We are not in this for
money.
Right,
but who's the person who's suffering mental anguish and sleeping disorders because of some part of Kentucky's Homeland Security law, as ridiculous as it may be?
Well, first of all, Homeland Security is a very serious issue, and to have people running it who believe in invisible
but who's suffering
magic
from a
man in the
sleeping
sky.
disorder over this?
I'm sorry? Nobody said
but
sleeping
who's suffering
disorder.
from a sleeping disorder?
No, nobody is worried about a sleeping disorder.
The Lexington Herald says, well, but that's part of what the plaintiff's part of your lawsuit said.
The part of the lawsuit that talks about damages is there because it has to be. The point of the lawsuit is to protect the separation of church and state. It's not about money. It's about protecting the separation of church and state from people who would want to merge the two, which is part of the problem in the first place. The entire Office of Homeland Security was started after a faith-based attack, and now they want to put religion into the same office. There should be lots of warning bells going off, and we are doing everything that we can to make it stop. And one of the things that we have to do...
Silverman, go ahead.
One of the things that we have to do, this is part of the law, we have to put in a damages clause, otherwise the lawsuit has no merit and will be dismissed. That's why it's there.
Okay, fair enough. Good point. David Silverman, Communications Director for American Atheists. And David, thanks for coming on.
Rock and roll.
Up next, when will troops come home from Iraq? Today, a new security pact brings new answers. That's straight ahead. And coming up, what would you do if the president-elect called you on the phone? We'll tell you why one Florida lawmaker slammed the phone at Mr. Obama. She tells her story coming up next on MSNBC.